Everybody, good morning. Those that are here, those that are in the space, wherever you are, let's learn some Torah together. We are in the midst of the 18th chapter of the Alter Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe is here talking about the heart of a Jew. A Yiddish Heart, that's what it's called in Yiddish. A Yiddish Heart. A Yiddish Heart. What's a Yiddish Heart? What's a Jewish heart? Yiddish heart, Avas Hashem, Ava Mesuteres. We have love of God, love of our hidden love. What is this? What is this all about? What's so special about it? Yiddish heart. The Gemara says, the Talmud says that the Yiddish heart is by Shonim, Rachmanim, Gomel Chasodim. That a Yiddish heart is somebody that who has by Shonim, their embarrassment, they have humility. A Yiddish Hearts has humility. A Yiddish Hearts has compassion. Mercy. A Yiddish Hearts has mercy. A Yiddish Hearts compassion. A Yiddish Hearts has giving. That's a Yiddish Hearts. A good neshama. A Yiddish Hearts. The Alter Rebbe says you can come to a Yiddish Hearts. You can come to a Jewish heart through two ways. We can come to a Yiddish heart through seichel, comprehension, through our understanding what a Yiddish heart is, and our service in creating this Yiddish heart, this Jewish heart, or we can come to it straight, right to the heart, because something that's in the heart is ultimately higher than seichel, higher than understanding. And therefore, our unity, our oneness that comes from the heart is above comprehension. And that's the beauty of Yiddish hearts. It should be the hearts of the world, really. Not every human being. And the Eibishter gave him a heart. The Eibishter gave him a concept of a lev, of a heart, of love, compassion. These are powerful, powerful concepts that God gave each and every one of us, that we should go over beyond maybe our differences. It's impossible that we're going to be the same. It's impossible that we're going to understand each other. It's impossible that we are going to live like one another. We come from different parts of the world. Even the Jewish nation comes from different parts of the world. We have different kinds of ways of life. How is it possible to unite? Is only through the heart, through the lev, love. That I can create a concept of love for one another. A love, like I heard a rabbi once said, that you don't have to like each other, you got to love each other. We have to learn to love one another. And then when we can learn to love one another without any, maybe above understanding, maybe by love will bring to understanding. If we can love each other with our hearts, we can come to one understand each other. So that's what Chassidus says. Chassidus teaches us that it comes from the heart, goes up to the mind. What somebody loves, he thinks about. When somebody loves something, somebody loves somebody, he starts to think about that person, or he starts to think about that concept. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it creates the love itself, can create a desire, a yearning, or even intellectual search for that concept. And therefore we see in many ways that it's called matzah chen be'einav in the Torah. It's called when something is attracted to you with your eyes. You see something and you get attracted. You don't know what it is. But it attracts you. Something is meishach halev. You see that in a relationship when you first meet somebody. It's all in the first meeting, that attraction, that twinkle of the eye, that connection that a person says, "Oh, I have an interest in this," because it's I see something in this. I don't know what it is yet. I don't comprehend it, but I'm willing to put the time into it. right? And that's why we date and we find out each other and we think we know each other, but we still don't know each other. It takes a lifetime to know one another. So too with the Abish, so too with our love of God. You need to touch into the Ava Misoteres. We need to touch into this to the soul love that we all love the Abish. And maybe that that should be our beginning. I mean, that should create the concept of to search out. Why do I have this yearning? Why do I have this attraction? Why do I have this love? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. I have no idea about it. I have no understanding in it, but I have this kind of infinity. And Jews, in general, humans at large, all have attractions to things that attracts them. And spirituality is one of the attractions of life. We see that throughout the entire world. Spirituality is an attraction. With all the negativity, it's still an attraction. It's surely an attraction to a Jewish person. He has an ava to this concept. He doesn't understand per se what it is. Or even if he hears the subject, like somebody said, so I know what's going on over there. Maybe you learn Chumash and Rashi, sometimes you don't know what's going on. You can't, what we learned today in Chumash and Rashi, I mean, this is the Gemara. You really need to go, this is just a little taste in what the Gemara talks about. You can't expect to understand the Gemara in one Rashi, by Nishalelo. You need to go and learn the Talmud and go into the depths of these halachas. You're going into mishpatim of Torah. We're going to the law. When it comes to law of Judaism, you need to go to the essence of it and comprehend it. I agree. You have to comprehend it. You have to comprehend these laws. It's not so simple. It's hard to do that in 15 minutes of the chitas in the morning. So it's only to wet your taste buds, as they say, and create a question and go search the answer. It's a good question you asked over here, whoever asked that question. And it's a gewaltige question, but it takes time. That will take some effort and time of yours and time of mine, whoever you're going to ask the question. But it needs to create a desire in us to want to learn. Eila achukim tosim lefneihem. See, when Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to teach the Torah, God was worried that he wouldn't, because the Torah is vast. The Torah knowledge is vast. It comes from the wisdom of God, which is vast. It's very deep, complex. It's very difficult in many ways. So we need to wet the taste buds in it, and therefore you have the pasuk. The pasuk. Now you have the question: what does the pasuk mean? I got to get this pasuk. It's bothering me. Now she says sometimes this pasuk demands interpretation. I learn a pasuk, I learn a verse in the Torah, and the Torah is screaming out at me. What's it talking about? What is he saying? What's the meaning? How do we deal with this? What do we do with this? And now it awakens up. You want to have the desire to know. If you don't have desire to know, you close the book and invite the Gemara. Life goes on. But if you have the desire, you go and search. You search the concept. You search the meaning, and hopefully it creates even a greater desire to go deeper into the verse and go understand a deeper lesson in the meaning of the pasuk. And you can continue to go to Gemara and then go to Shulchan Aruch. It's never ending, and it's beautiful because learning never ends. So here, the Alter Rebbe, going back to what I'm saying, the Alter Rebbe says we need to go to the source of Ava. We need to go to the source of love, which is my heart. And my heart is comprised of many different concepts, but it's basically comprised of two power sources, which is Ava and Yira, Chesed and Gevura. And those are the powers of my heart. I have certain things that I have an attraction to, certain things I have a negative to. I don't feel comfortable. The Gemara says if your wife says something to you that she's uncomfortable around somebody, you should accept her intuition, right? That she's uncomfortable. If she says she's uncomfortable, if you invite a guest and she says I'm uncomfortable, you might not see the uncomfortability. But if your wife tells you she's uncomfortable, you should listen. Listen to her uncomfortability. You should intuition of a woman that she's intuitive to things that maybe it doesn't make any seichel. Maybe you don't see the knowledge and the understanding. But that was the argument between Avraham and Sarah. Sarah was uncomfortable with Yishmael. Avraham didn't comprehend it. What do you have against this? What is the problem? We can work everything out. Comes Sarah and says, "No, I'm not comfortable. I'm uncomfortable with this situation. We need to change the situation." Which ultimately God agrees with that. That you need to change. Listen to your wife. Listen to your wife's intuition. Listen to her. Wow, I woke up all the people there. I woke them up. Wow. It's a great advice. It's God's advice. God's advice.
Yeah, I wish my husband were on.
Your wife says you should listen. His wife is Sarah. Every woman is wiser than you, that's for sure. But I didn't mean every woman is wiser than you. No, I mean every wife is wiser than her husband. That's what I meant. I didn't mean that every woman is wiser than Moshe. Your wife is wiser than you, and that's it. The Eivishtah gave your wife. That's what he gave your wife. That she's gonna. There's always exception to the rule. Trust me. There's always exception. No rule doesn't have an exception. I'm talking about my wife. I'm talking about my wife. There's no question. Every time I have a disagreement with my wife, she always comes out right. Because she has intuitions to that.
Learning how to say yes, dear, with complete sincerity.
Even if you're not sincere.
Okay, that was not my point. Whatever. So I didn't want to waken up your emotions over here. Okay. So the truth is that the lavcha, you say it in your davening, you have to waken up your hearts. That the obligation to b'chol levavcha, we should waken up our ava, the ava that we have, and this intuition that every Jew has is something powerful that he needs to maybe go straight to, and inspire himself to reveal this ava, to reveal this love, that he can have a deep relationship with his own ava, with his own avas Hashem. And the Eibush doesn't want you to have ava from somebody else's ava, another person's love. You should have your own love. You should love your God, and you should develop this love of God to your capacity, not somebody else's capacity, not to somebody else's intellect. Every person needs to have their relation. That's why actually yesterday in the Pasha it says Anechi Hashem Elikecha. I'm God, your God, in the singular. At the end of the verse, it says, at the end of the chapter, it says, Ani Hashem Elekechem. That's a different, the third chapter, I'm God, your God, in plural, Elekechem. Ani Hashem Elekecha, the Gemara says that the Eibush spoke to every person's heart. The Eibush spoke to each individual the way he has his emotions and the way he has his feelings. We know that the Eibush, when he created something, he's not like somebody who created, the Gemara says, not like you have a what's the mint? The mint creates a mold that creates coins, right? So the mint creates coins. It creates one stamp or million stamps, and every coin looks the same. Every coin looks the same. If you have a coin that doesn't look, it's a very expensive coin. If you find a coin that doesn't look like the other coins, it's worth a lot of money, because every coin looks identical. The Eibush creates every coin, every human being doesn't look identical. They don't look identical. They don't feel identical. They don't think identical. And therefore, it's very hard to give ideas to anybody. Why? Because my idea won't fit you. And it doesn't work. To be able to give ideas to somebody that fits another person, you have to be a very special person to be able to do that. You have to be extremely an unbelievable person to be able to give an eitzah to somebody else, to give an idea to somebody else, because my idea or your idea doesn't fit Everybody, it fits you. How does it fit somebody else? Therefore, I'm not giving anybody ideas. The Alter Rebbe started off the Tanya. He says, I know souls. So I know what your soul needs. Tzaddik can say something like that. I know the idea for you. Righteous man can say, I know the idea. I know what your soul can do. But how can anybody else say, I know what your neshama needs? I don't know what my neshama needs. How do I know what your neshama needs? So we don't. Therefore, as Jews, we go to the Torah. We go to Torah, the architect. The Torah is the architect of the world. It's the architect. If it's the architect of the world, it's the blueprint of each and every one of us. And that's the blueprint. The blueprint of your being. The Alter Rebbe says the blueprint of you is your essence. This is your blueprint. This is your blueprint. It's a yellow print, but it's blueprint. Yeah.
A new one.
New one. So you have your essence, you know who you are, your blueprint. And if you go into your blueprint and you know that you have chesed within you, you have an attribute of kindness. You have the concept of ava. It's not something that you went and bought. It's not something that you even went and created within your mind. It's something that you have before your mind was even in existence. The Eibishter gave you your chesed. He gave you in your neshama the concept of ava, kindness and love. So you are a lover. You have the capability of ava. And that capability, and you have the capability of also respect and the gevura. You have that within you. You don't have to go acquire it. You have it within you. And that these things that you have within you is even above your intellect. So therefore, you can have avas Hashem, you can have love for somebody else without knowing the other person totally. And we see that within nature, that you can have ava to another person. You can love somebody, not only without knowing them, as I said before, maybe without even liking them. I don't have to like somebody to love him. I can dislike, and the proof is the easiest way. Those who have children, Kanainara, know that they can have Ava without liking them. You don't have to like them, or maybe you can have if you're married. You don't have to like, but you still love them, right? You have Ava without the concept of liking them. It's not always has to go hand in hand, right? So if you have a good fight with your spouse, you still all love them, hopefully. I'm not exactly happy right now, but I still love you, right? I'm not going to go and do something crazy because I love you. My love is my unity. I'm a loving God, and therefore, I don't know God. I'm in love with him, and therefore, I do what is right. I'm in love with my wife, and therefore, I stick away from things that is going to create a havoc in this love. And I'm sticking away from things that's going to break this love. And even though there are certain things that I won't talk about me. There are certain things that we don't like in other people. We certainly we don't like in other people, whether they're our wives or our husbands or our children, etc., etc. Why? You can ask a citizen, why do you love your children? It's a stupid question. That's a stupid question. Why do you love your children? I love my children. That's a stupid question. It's not a logical question. The truth is, when the Abisha too, why do I love God? It's not a logical question. Well, you can ask me why I love God. I love God because that's my nature. I have a love of God. I have a love. I have a connection that's above understanding per se. Oh, but what has God done for you lately? Look at God. Where was God here? Where was God there? Okay, good questions. Good questions.
It's not a stupid question, then. It just means we don't understand the answer, at least yet. But trying to understand why I love God or why I love
I agree with you.
my child.
I meant it's not a stupid. It's a stupid question, meaning that you can't ask a question on this concept. You can't ask a question. You can ask a question on the actions of God. I understand. You can't ask a question on why I love the Abish. I love the Abish because I love God. It's above reason because we are interconnected. That's it. I love the Eibishter because I'm a part of God.
That's an answer, and we're interconnected. That's a great reason for loving.
Yeah, but what's the interconnection? I might not be able to explain it. Again, I ultimately cannot explain this connection, just like I can't explain the connection between people that I love in this world. I don't know the connection. We have some connection. What's the connection? I don't know.
I think
I meet my family. I have nothing to do with my family for years and years. I meet them. Ultimately, I there's no reason why there's a connection automatically. There's a natural connection.
But that's an answer. Connection. That's an answer and a good reason for love. We're connected.
Okay, you're trying. I understand. You're trying to find the reason. I'm trying to go that it's above reason. So you gave
the reason.
I know, but the reason is not a logical reason. That's my point. It's a reason, but it's really not logical. It's really not logical. You know, I go to visit jails in my journey in life. And I'm a visitor. You have to get permission to come. Whatever. I visit people, and you see people online. You know, the hundreds of people come to visit people, and you stand there you listen to their conversations. It's always a men's prison, so all these women are coming to them, girlfriends, wives, and it's unbelievable in a way the commitment these people have. I always think about it, you know, if it'd be the other way around. And people are coming to their husbands or to their boyfriends even of years and years ago. The relationship, the years, the guy's in jail already, 10 years, 20 years. You would turn to him and say, what are you doing? What? I didn't turn to him, not trust me, I don't say anything. But it's just, I'm amazed, inspiring that people are committed to one another, even though they have no physical relationship. They're not with each other. And it's truly beautiful. It's usually me between the hundreds of women that are coming to these places. And it's inspiring. And it taka shows on the concept of a woman in general. The beauty of her unconditional love to somebody else that she made a commitment to and she has a relationship with. And this relationship, I'm sure if I would sit there and argue with them and say, what are you doing here? Why wouldn't you go on in life? Why wouldn't you do, you know, we could argue, why wouldn't you break this situation? And they don't. And that's beauty. That's truly a beautiful concept. That even though things are happening in their lives and the separation is there, they're not. They're committed. They're committed to this situation. Truly an amazing thing. You cannot. It's above and beyond understanding. It doesn't make sense to me. It shows on true ava between people. It shows on true love with people. The truth is that you find the opposite too. You know, a lot of marriages break up because of money, financial reasons. I see that too. So here, two people are committed, and suddenly they're breaking up because of financial issues. You cannot blame them either. But sad. It's sad. Sad. So then you have, you can say, I can't live this way. I can't live this way. So that means the person made a commitment to live on a certain rules and regulations. If they don't fit, if they don't work out right now, we're willing to break up the situation. And you cannot really argue with them. We're going to argue. It's sad, but it's sad. It's sad. And you hope that a relationship is based on ava, and we're willing to go through whatever it takes, whatever's going to happen, we'll go through it together. And whenever I sit with a couple, I want to take them with me to visit. I say, come, we'll visit the jail. You'll see the people are committed to each other for life, even though what they're going through in life, it shows a true commitment. The sadness is that most of the time, ava, love, is expressed when there is pain, when there is trouble. There is trouble. We show our ava. When there's a tragedy, when there's a forced kind of a situation, do we have ava or don't we have ava? Do we have love or don't we have love? It forces our love. That's what the Alter Rebbe says over here. When put to the gun, you tell a Jew to bow down to an idol, he's going to reveal his love to God because he has a gun to his head. For whatever reason, the oppression, the non-Jewish rule brought about a revelation of a person's love. And that's also seeming like a human kind of a concept that we need to go through a tragedy. Right now, Jews are united as one. We're in Sodus. We're united as one. Well, what happens after the Baruch Hashem, the Sodus is going to come to an end? Mirz Hashem. And what's going to happen then with the Avos Yisrael? What's going to happen then with love of one another? So then it showed that your love is based totally on a condition. It's based totally on a condition. It's based totally on a rationalization. Oh, we're in Sodus. What are you going to do? Who else is going to be there for Jews? So we got to be there for each other. Oh, but when it's all good, suddenly who needs you? You go leave me alone. Don't bother me. No. If we have Ava, if we can create this true Ava.
Juju. Hi, sweetie.
Ava to one
I'll be
another.
right back. I'm just going to get some gas.
If we can create this true Ava, whoever's on, turn off your sound. It'd be a good idea. So whoever can create this Ava, that we can connect to the true Ava that we have taka love for one another, not because we're tsar, not because there's trouble, but because we have Avas Hashem, we have Avas Yisrael, we have true love to one another. And we don't have to be like each other, want to like each other. We have true Ava. That's what the Alter Rebbe wants, and that's what the Alter Rebbe feels, that we all could do that. We all can touch the true Ava that we have in ourselves, the true love beyond any kind of rationalization. Rav, because we are one, like a father to a child. That we're all brothers and sisters. We're family, and therefore we don't like everything the family does. We're still family. You can't get rid of your family. You can't get rid of you cannot. You can't get rid of him. You can't choose your relatives. And therefore, you're united. You're united because you're united. You're one because you're one. So the Alter Rebbe brings a powerful verse over here. I don't know if we learned this already. Okay, let's go to here. Let's go over here. Ready? I don't know what we're holding, but you know what we're holding? Page 78?
No, they're still on 76.
76. Oh, man. What? We were 7.
You're at the bottom.
Bottom of 76? Are you sure?
Yes.
You've been
Yeah.
laughing.
I'm sure.
Okay. If you say so, let's do it. Let's go. Ready? No, we did. So, thus it comes to pass. We're going to the bottom. That's what I remember learning this. Thus it comes to pass that they ate and saved, blessed and garbed, as it were, in the wisdom of the human soul, or whatever sort of Jew he may be. In turn, the soul faculty of wisdom, together with the light of it, is saved, blessed be he, that is vested and spreads throughout the entire soul, animating it from head to foot. So to speak, as is written, wisdom gives life to those who have it. And what is the meaning? Because the Alter Rebbe says this, just like you, where does your neshama, where does your heart get its true love? It comes from your wisdom. Wisdom is not understanding. Wisdom is potential. Wisdom is something that is above understanding. Wisdom is the concept of the genius, the aha, the moment, when I understand that, you know what, that I don't understand. When I understand something that's above my imagination. When I realize something that's above something that I understand. That there's a concept within me that is not understandable. When you could create a relationship, whether it's again with your wife or your friend or with God, that when a person won't ask you why you love your wife, always tell a chas and kala that they should write down why they're getting married. Maybe a rainy day they'll read they'll read why they got married. Why did they get married? Right? So that was why can they write it down as a chas and kala? Because they really don't know each other. Hopefully they never need to go to the writing why they got married. Because right now when they're married, they created an ava that is above understanding why they got married. If you're going to sit down every day and you're going to ask yourself why you got married, you're in trouble. If you're going to sit down every day and say, why do I love another Jew? We're in trouble. And if you're going to sit down and think why I love the Eibishter every day, why I need to figure out why I love him, then then as Jewish nation we're in trouble. We need to come to a level where we love each other because we love each other. Right? You might ask somebody, why do you love me? That's putting in a question. Uh-oh. What am I supposed to answer?
The fiddler on the roof.
Right. For 25 years, I cooked for you.
Because we were all in Sinai.
Okay, a Jew because we have an neshama.
All of our souls were in Sinai.
We're right here. Don't have to wait to Sinai. We're all right here. All on the neshamas are right here. We don't have to go to Sinai. The neshamas are right here. They're all here. Why we love each other? Because we're Jewish people. We're one body. If I have to give a reason why I love you, because you're a nice person. Because you are a good person. Because you smile, your blue eyes, I don't know, all these expressions. That's why it first attracted me to you. Those blue eyes.
Still, there's some people you love everybody, but there's some people you can be around for an hour a day. Some people you can only be around for 5 minutes a day. Some people you can be around 24/7. And that's part of the acceptance of love too. You can't be around everybody the same amount of time.
I'm not arguing with you on that point. And again, I don't have, when it comes to an Ava, like I said before, it's not the amount of time I'm around a person. It's not the amount of time. Like I said to somebody yesterday, I said, my wife's in New York. So he said, oh, you're alone. I said, once you're married, you're never alone. Finished.
It plays into the acceptance.
You're always married. It doesn't make a difference how far the person is. If you want to talk it serious, I'm not around my wife most of the day, and we're not around each other. It's not the amount of time that I'm around somebody, and so too with my kids, and so too with my siblings. I don't have to be around them and then we come around each other once in a while, and we're like never went away from each other. So it's a whole different reality. If I have to be around you, and I have to have this kind of a situation, that's why you have a lot of couples that have a problem in this. They have this struggle. You're not enough with me. You are enough with me. You did talk to me. You didn't talk to me. Why didn't you look at me? Why did you look at me? Blah, blah, blah. I had the struggle in my show. You said good Shabbos me, didn't get to get. You said good Shabbos to that guy, you didn't get to say good Shabbos to this guy. You smiled at this guy. Why didn't you smile at that guy? I have to whatever. It's like a whole sketch. It's a whole thing. Like you smiled at him more. You didn't smile. Oh, you shook my hand. You hugged him. Why did you hug him? Why didn't you shake my hand? Why? Like everybody is giving me a whole. It's a very difficult job, right? Because it's based. So what? Is my relationship based on? Oh, I hugged him. I didn't hug you. I said hello to you. I didn't say hello to him. Like it's a whole. It's an unfair kind of relationship, and it's not a true concept. It's based on Oh, this way. Oh, you looked at him nicer. You looked at me, but worse. You said hello to him. You didn't say hello to me. I'm not thinking of who I'm saying hello to, who I don't say hello to. You're right. I should say hello to everybody. I should hug everybody. But if that I didn't hug somebody doesn't show that I don't love the person, or I didn't say hello to you, that means I don't love you. This is ridiculous. It's not true. If you're basing your relationship on how much time, how you did it, how you didn't do it, I think it's important. I'm not arguing it's important, but it's impossible for everybody to be on their best behavior 24/7 and every day of life. It's impossible. It's not being fair. It's not being realistic. Every person has a bad day. Every person wakes up someday unhappy. And he's not even talking to anybody. It might not be right, but it doesn't make the person a bad person. There has to be a that we can tolerate and enjoy each other whenever it happens, wherever it happens, however it happens. The Eibishter loves us unconditionally. Would he like us to be better? 100%. Every father would like their children to be better. But he loves us unconditionally. He has a hafti esram Hashem. The Eibishter says, I love you. And I'm willing to go through the good and the bad and the ugly because I love you. I would hope that you live a beautiful, happy life 100%. Well, the problem and therefore the Alter Rebbe says, as it comes to the regard, we just finished that thing, right? Wisdom. So that's wisdom. If we don't connect our wisdom, right? We connect our understanding. Our relationships, our whole life is based on the way we understand things. We need to connect our chachma. We need to connect our wisdom. It's above understanding. And that demands bittul. Chachma demands humility. And therefore, you cannot have love if you don't have humility.
Love yourself.
Correct. Yeah, you can have love yourself. That's your natural love. But you can't have love of another person if you don't have humility. Because if you have ego, then all the love that you have to another person is based on what you're gaining or what you're not gaining. What? Correct. At times, and therefore, the Alter Rebbe puts over the princesses, at times, sin of Israel may even bring down a very lofty soul, which has been the depths of Klippa, as explained in Sefer Gagulim. And therefore, it doesn't make difference who you are. Doesn't make difference where you were born, who your parents or your grandparents were. The Eibishter could give you a neshama, gave you a neshama, that you have the capability through your wisdom to go heights, to go greater heights, to surpass your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents. Says, no, you'll all be very happy that you surpassed them, that you overcame them, and you did what was right. You did better. So your understanding might say, no, it's impossible. This is who I am. I was born this way. Look at that. I was given this education. I was given this parents. I was given these evil tendencies. I was given this challenge. And the Eibush says, yeah, I know that. But I gave you a soul. I gave you a chachma. I gave you a wisdom that gives you the capability to go above your challenges. So don't blame me that you don't want to overcome your challenges. So even if you're wicked, you can be righteous. Even if you were born for the wicked parents, you can still be righteous. Even if you're born from wicked parents that had wicked parents, go up the list. You can still be righteous. Let's live further, yeah? You with me? Now, Chachma, wisdom, is the source of intelligence and comprehension. And it's above understanding, which in intellectual understanding and comprehension, where Chachma is above them and their source. Note the etymological composition of the word Chachma. The word Chachma in Hebrew is 4 letters. Chaf, Ches, Chaf, Mem, Hey, which is Koyachma, the potential of what is. Everything is the potential of what is. Don't tell me what is, tell me what the potential is. Don't tell me who you are, tell me who you could be. Yeah, with me? Tell me who you could be. I know who you are. It's old news. I want to know who you could be. That's what the Chachma demands. Chachma demands in ourselves to go a step up, to go a step further. I know your problems. I know your issues. I got it. I saw it yesterday. I saw it the day before. I heard it the week before. I heard it all. But is that your potential? Is that who you could be? Is that who you want to be? So let's talk about who you want to be. And let's move towards that. Let's move to who you want to be. I'm talking to yourself, not talking to somebody else. You need to talk to yourself. I could be over here. Let's move towards that. Let's create a desire to come towards that. Can we create a desire to come towards that? Or a lot of people say, I want to be there. I want to wake up there. You know, I just want to be there. Just I should just land there without any, I just should be there. A guy tells me, I want to wake up married. I don't want to go through the whole process. I want to wake up. I'm married. Why do I gotta go through this whole process, dating and this whole thing? I want to wake up married. I want to wake up married.
You can skip the best part. There's no effort.
Right? So it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So a person that wants to get engaged, he has to imagine what he wants. He has to have that thing, you know. And the Gemara says, always put your head on a higher peg. Always look higher. Don't try to marry somebody lower than you. Try to marry somebody greater than you, better than you. Hopefully, whoever will fall into they'll fall for it. But they'll do something irrational and marry me, and that will ultimately make me a better person. I'm going to marry somebody that's going to drag me down because I'm looking to not become better.
So then you can't love everybody the same. Or you can't be with everybody the same.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Even
Talk
though
louder.
you love them.
What?
So you can't be with everybody the same, even though you love them all.
I didn't say you should be with everybody the same. You shouldn't be the same with your wife like you're with somebody else.
Before you make her your wife, you have to, even though you love them all, you still have to make a choice of
100%.
work with you and what doesn't work with you.
Well, no question about it. Everything the Eibishter gave you Chachma, he gave you Bina. I'm not negating Bina, understanding. God forbid. Everything ultimately you have to use both. You have Chachma, you have wisdom, and you have understanding. And therefore, there's a time to have wisdom, and there's a time to understand. No argument in me. And everything in Torah, everything has its time. King Solomon says there's a time for wisdom, there's a time for laughter, there's a time for crying, there's a time for wealth, there's a time for everything. Over here, we're looking to attach to a time of wisdom. Let us attach to a time of potential. Let us go to the potential. That's what the Alter Rebbe is saying. That doesn't mean that he doesn't want you ultimately to take the potential, understand it. You do. You ultimately need to do that. You need to bring it down to an understanding. And therefore, once you bring it to understanding, now you have differences. You have separation. You have differences because I understand things different, etc., etc. But you need to come down to that. You need to ultimately come down to that. And then you need to come down to knowledge, to know it, and to unite with it. So therefore, going back to a relationship, there's initial attraction. That's the chachma. Then we date each other. We try to understand each other. And then we unite with that. We become with knowledge. We unite with it. But the beauty of marriage is always, if you really want a happy marriage, you always need to go to the unknown. You need to grow together. Right? The love that you had when you were 22 or 23 or 24, whatever you met, is not the same love when you're going to be 40s, in the 50s, and the 60s. It's going to be a different thing. It's going to be a different thing. It's self-understood. It's going to mature. It's going to be a different concept. And Baruch Hashem, you don't want that kind of, you're not a child anymore. You're not a teenager or a 22-year-old. You're a 50-year-old man. You're a 60-year-old man. And she's a 60-year-old woman. You're mature individuals. Your love is matured. Hopefully. But you want to continue that relationship. And therefore, the Eibishter says, you have to love the Eibishter every day like new. Because then it gets boring. How do you keep this marriage fresh? Right? It's just, I know exactly what's going to happen. I know. Therefore, you never know your wife. She always comes up with something new. Or the other way around. It's fine. So that's the beauty. That which is not yet comprehended, understood, and grasped intellectually. Consequently, there is vested the light. That's what infinity is. Infinity is not in your understanding. Infinity is in the wisdom. That's where you touch God. That's where you touch the truth. If you can go to your chachma, if you can be humbled and go to your wisdom, go to something that's above your understanding. Go to the space where you have true love, where you have true love, true ava, true relationships. You can't live in that situation either, always, as I said. You ultimately need to come down and understand it too. But you need to go to that space. That's what we say. It's bashert. It's bashert. What if two souls comes together? It's bashert. It's a godly reason why these two souls come. Maybe logically they don't make sense, but it's a godly purpose. Opposites attract.
Very interesting statement. Hence, all Jews, even the women and the illiterate, believe in God. I would think that was a very
disturbing statement.
I think that's a real.
Oh, I didn't want to read it, so you have to make me trouble.
I saw that too.
It's very simple. Very simple. It's very simple. It's very simple. You have to realize until right before World War II, women never went to study. Okay? Women were not studying. Yeah. Changed the world. The world changed. Alter Rebbe, there were women, there was exception to the rule. And Alter Rebbe had the daughter who was extremely knowledgeable. Rashi had 3 daughters, but there were exception to the rule. In general, there were no schools for women. Okay? Schools for women started in the 1920s, 1920, or World War II. That was reality. That was the history of the world. That's nothing. That's historical reflection of what was happening at the time. There were not the Torah scholars, women,
Certainly were
and there was still no women rabbis. So okay, I just want to wake you up again. So,
Oh, yeah, you're gonna get a beating.
I know. Okay. Good, no problem. So you understand? So that's nothing. That's the Alter Rebbe was talking in his perspective of his time where women were not knowledgeable and they never were in school and it was not expected to be knowledgeable because they didn't go to school. Changed. The world changed. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. One of the beautiful things that the world changed was that women went to school and the schools full of women. Some girls are smarter than boys. So that's not a problem. The Alter Rebbe was self-understood dealing with the women of his time, and that was the reality. They were holy people, but they were not. You can tell them a halachic response. You know, the Gemara says, in time the Gemara women didn't either learn. Once the Gemara was arguing on a situation of a Jewish law on women. And they're going backwards and forwards. All these rabbis are arguing. So then one rabbi says, you know what, why don't you just ask a woman? Why don't we ask a woman? So the rabbi said, we're going to ask a halacha. The Tana says, yeah. Because when a person is living through something, they know what the halacha is. When a person is living through something, you can ask a woman. She knows her tuition of what the law is, and that's why you find in the halachas of a women in Hilchos Nida, you'll see the expression women did this law. That women took upon themselves this law. Usually, what do you mean women took upon themselves a law? Either it's the law, or it's not the law. But in essence, they turned to the woman and they said, "What do you say? Why did you learn the law? No." But they live with the law. They didn't have to learn the law. They live with the law, with this law. The law of Nida is about a woman. It's her menstrual cycle. She knows the law. She knows the feeling of it. Okay, but that's a separate issue. So that's what Alter Rebbe says. So don't lose yourself on those expressions. Okay, relax. So though he comprehends by any thought, hence all Jews, even the women and illiterate. That's it. People that don't learn. Illiterate was also not a derogatory because they didn't learn. Truth is that not only women didn't learn, most Jews didn't learn in his time. There was no, what do you think? There were schools around in the Alter Rebbe's times. There was very few Jews that were learned. There were few books, there were few schools. Today you have schools every place. It's a whole different world. Most Jews were illiterate. They couldn't even read. That's why you have a chazan. Why do you think the chazan came about? Because Jews couldn't read. They didn't learn the alphabet. Yeah, Rabbi Akiva was illiterate. Most Jews were illiterate. That was the reality of the time. They were not put down. That's the reality. The reality, most Jews could not read. That's it. Because there was no school. And if you went to school, you either were a rabbi's son or you were very, very wealthy. And the majority of Jews weren't wealthy. And therefore, they didn't go to school. And therefore, they were illiterate. Didn't make them bad people. But the Alter Rebbe is just saying, how can such people, how do you expect something for such people like that, who are illiterate, who don't know Torah knowledge? That's the reality. You are demanding on them spirituality when they never went to school. They never opened the Chumash. They never opened a Siddur. They don't know what it is all about. So how can I talk? Who am I talking to? Only this book is to a secluded group of knowledgeable Talmudic scholars. So the Alter Rebbe says no, because I'm talking in the heart. I'm talking about real things. I'm not talking about the Torah for law. I'm not talking about Torah for. I'm talking about human beings. I'm talking about the human heart. I'm talking about the hearts of every person that everybody knows. You don't have to go to. You don't have to be a genius and Torah scholar to know what if you have a heart, if you have ava, you have love, or you don't have love. You don't gotta sit and learn. You don't gotta go to the Jewish system to know this law, this concept. And therefore, it doesn't make a difference whether you're a great scholar or whether a simple Jew that never went to school. You can understand this because it's you. It's not when you go to the concept of Jewish law, for slavery, not slavery, you have to go into it's not you. It's about Jewish law. You're not a slave. You don't own slaves. You want to understand the Torah law on slavery. This is a deep subject. You need to go and learn. And if you're not a Talmud scholar, you're not going to know the law. Therefore, Rashi gives you a little bit of a touch. He gives you a background a little bit, but you really want to understand the law of today's chitas. You need to go learn Gemara. You know, learn Mishnah, you learn Gemara, and get into the subject. Trust me, it's a deep subject, complicated subject. You see, that's with the beauty of what I take from the Rashi. First, I learned the Gemaras, so I know the subject mainly. But the beauty of the Rashi is the way to learn the Torah. The Rashi is teaching you how to learn the Torah. Thus, in today's Rashi is teaching you how to learn the Torah. When you look at a pasuk, how do you look at the pasuk? How do you look at the verse? Because you have this verse and you have that. You really need to know the whole Torah to understand the Torah, right? Because you look in the Dustin today. Rashi brings up this verse, and then you have a verse in Leviticus, and you have a verse in Deuteronomy. Now, how you put the two verses together? Oh, we have a third verse in the book of Numbers. And now, if you put the three verses together, maybe you'll have some understanding of the verse. Rashi, in essence, showed you today, when you learn Rashi, that when you open the Chumash, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, when you open the Chumash and you look at the verse, you really don't know what the verse means. Unless you know the second verse, and you know the third verse, and you know what the difference is between the verses, what the nuances in the words of the verse, and the differences between the verses. That alone, even if you don't understand the ultimate differences, that alone shows you in the beauty of learning. That don't just take the verse as just a blank statement. The verse has a lot of depth to it. There's a lot to this verse. And the only way you're going to learn there's a lot to this verse, if you're going to find the other verse that contradicts it. You with me? I'm knocking you out, Amisha. I want to finish this chapter. No, right? So God, since faith is beyond understanding and comprehension, for the simple believe everything, but the prudent man understands. That's it. What's a prudent? Give me the right word. Help me.
Careful.
Prudent.
Careful.
Prudent? No, prudent means the Azus, the arrogant man understands.
So the simple are higher.
That's it. That's the point. Because the man who thinks he understands. He understands nothing.
He overanalyze.
Yeah. He doesn't really understand. He understands God. You don't really understand.
Overanalyze.
Reflective.
What does it say?
There's prudent.
Prudence.
Acting with or showing care and thought for the future. No prudent money manager would authorize
The opposite I said.
without first knowing its purpose.
Okay, I think over here it means a little bit different.
Careful.
Look at the Rebbe. It says, look at the Alter Rebbe, a couple of lines over here. Ready?
It doesn't translate. Hebrew doesn't translate perfectly.
Right. Let's go the way. But with regard to the Holy One, blessed be He, who is beyond intelligence and knowledge, and who can in no way be comprehended in any thought, all men are like fools in His presence.
I'm just curious. What is the Hebrew word? What is it?
Over here, it's the word over here is kipesi yam l'chol dava va'arim yavin. Va'arim over here it's va'arim.
So what is that translated?
I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I gotta look that up. Autumn, I think it's an empty person. Well, we'll soon see. I'm not sure.
So, not a bad.
How do you spell it in Hebrew?
Ayin
What are the
Reish
letters?
Vav Mem. I'm not sure. I gotta look up the pasuk. Before I give you the exact translation. What the pasuk meant. It's a pasuk in Proverbs. I gotta look up the pasuk. Then I can give you. But at least we see for the next part of the Alter Rebbe says what he really wants to bring out. He wants to bring out that ultimately a simple person really has a truth. A person that does things through faith really is doing it for the right reason, while the guy who thinks he knows it really has no knowledge, no true knowledge in it. Because since we're dealing with God, who knows God? Who comprehends God? So therefore, the person who thinks he has knowledge, he thinks he knows what he's doing. While the simple person knows that he doesn't have any idea what he's doing. He's doing it because he has a faith, because he loves God. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm illiterate. I'm unknowledgeable. I'm doing it because I have faith. The truth is, the person who has knowledge should also do it because he has faith, because his knowledge is limited. And that's why we find throughout history that you can have people that have great knowledge and become very arrogant. Their knowledge actually brings them arrogance. Right? Because they think they're knowledgeable. They look down on a person that's unknowledgeable. A real knowledgeable person realizes that he's just as unknowledgeable as an unknowledgeable person. That to God, we're both unknowledgeable. And since to God we're both unknowledgeable, so therefore we're both equal. We're both equal. There's no greatness. I do it as a knowledgeable person. I serve God because I believe in Him. And the unknowledgeable person serves God because he believes in it. Because he has emunah. So I love God because I love Him above my understanding, and the knowledge, the guy who thinks he knows why he loves God really loves God also because he loves Him, and it's above his knowledge. And that is again the Ava Misuteret. That is the hidden love that we all have, and that's the love we need to connect to once in a while. We need to awaken up that love. Not everything has to be understood. Not everything has to be comprehended. Because what we comprehend is very limited. You have to realize that it's ultimately limited. So even King Solomon, I say this many times, King Solomon said, Achakma, I have knowledge. But so far from me. I realize that all the knowledge I have is far from I'm far from the true knowledge. And that brings humility again. So the truth is that, in a way, you want to say you have the humble people that are smart. You have the humble people that are, I don't want to say the word, that are illiterate. And then you have the middle people who think they're great sages. Think they're great sages. Maybe they are great sages. But it brought them the opposite of humility for whatever reason. And they think that they have great knowledge over other people. And that's why they're great people, because they have great knowledge.
Smarter than the average bear.
I said yesterday, we learned from the ramp that the Torah says that you don't put you have to have a ramp, because the Rebbe says when it comes to a ramp, you can think you're very close, but you're very far. Or you can think you're very far, but you're actually very close. So a guy can think he's very close because he has great knowledge, but the truth is he's very far because he's arrogance. So the Eibishter cannot deal with an arrogant entity. But a person that thinks he's very far actually can be very close. And therefore, don't evaluate your closeness and distance from God based on your knowledge or even anything. That's where your Yetzer Hara, your evil inclination tries to impress upon you. Oh, you're not a good person. You're this, you're that. You must be very bad. You must be very far from God. You have a lot of... It's not true. Could be very close. Alter Rebbe once Chassid had a son that went away from Yiddishkeit, went away from Judaism. They came to Alter Rebbe for brachas, and Alter Rebbe said, "Let him come to me. I would like to see him." So the young man, came to visit him. He said, "What do you do?" He said, "I have a horse. I'm in the horse business. I train very fast horses." Those days, they all travel by horse. If you have good horses, they travel fast. The Alter Rebbe said, "Wow, how fast my horse can go the fastest." The Alter Rebbe said, "What happens if your horse is going the wrong way?" What happens if you get on your horse and your horse is traveling very fast, but you're fast to go the wrong way? The Jew said, "Yeah, but just like it can go fast the wrong way, it can come fast back the right way." Just like it can go fast the wrong way, it can come fast back.
Come back.
And the Alter Rebbe said, "Oh, listen to yourself. Listen to you. Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter gave you a strong horse. And you can go fast one way, but you can come fast way back. So come fast the way back. Come fast. Get on your horse and come fast." Understood. He was inspired. Alter Rebbe talked to him his language. He understood that language, the language of a fast horse. So we all have, in essence, you don't know what means far and what means left. The Kosker Rebbe said once, it says in the Torah, I mentioned this too, I will bring you back. I will forgive you for all your sins, like the distance from the west to the east. How far is the distance to the west to the east? He asked the students, how far is the distance from the west to the east? So some people, I don't know, it's miles and miles. I don't know how you go, how far. No, he says the turning of the head, the west to the east. You can turn your head in 1 second, the west to the east. However you're sitting. I'm sitting south to north now. But west to the east is a turn the head. I'm this way and that way. That's it. That took a second. David says you can change life in a second. Right? You don't have to go that far. Don't think you're that far. The Rebbe was against ultimately when the world came out with Kiruv, the Rebbe, to bring back Yidden, they called it Kiruv Rechoikim, to bring back those that were far away. The Rebbe said there's no such Jew that's far away. There's nobody that's far, right? There's nobody that's far. Everybody's close. We're all close. You're closer than you think you are. So there's no bringing back people that from the distance. No distance. The Eibush is right. The Eibush is right over here. He's right behind the door. He's right here. Not far. When you say it's far away, wow, hey, I gotta take a travel. I have to. Oh, what do I have to do over here? What I gotta do? This is like a frightening kind of process. I gotta do so much. I gotta change so much. I gotta. Then nobody does anything. To change yourself is right here. To become better, to make your potential a reality is right here. It's one step forward. One step forward. It's one step forward. It's right here. Don't make it bigger than it is. Yeah. Okay. Machaya. Let's just. We're not going to finish this. Okay. Anyway, we'll continue, Mitch, next week. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day, and we should have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful Monday. I wanted to tell you something. You want to come to this class or on Zoom. I'm doing it on Zoom. Also, the Device of the Rebbe. Phenomenal class. That is one of the best classes that the JLI has put together. I must say, it's on Tuesday night at 7:30. What a phenomenal class that is. What a beautiful class that Rebbe advice. It's very easy, not a hard class, but beautiful. The Rebbe gave advice to people in their lives, and the Rebbe was always very clear in his advice. Whether you agreed with him or not, that was not the point. But the point is that the Rebbe gave advice to the world.
The book needed a DVD with all the movies.
Yeah, beautiful.
Otherwise, you
I know.
really don't get anything.
I know. Yeah, that's why you need to really come with the movies. You got to come to
You really
Chabad.
have to- Otherwise, the class is.
No,
I can't get the book?
I don't have the book. I'm ordering more books. Okay, guys, have a wonderful Sunday. It's wonderful learning
Thank you,
with you.
Rabbi.
God bless you. I love you. I love you all. Whether you're here, whether you're there, we're all over. We love each other. God bless us all.
Love you too, everybody.